Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley shocked the world with the news of their romance in the mid-1990s.
There was a click. We started talking and immediately related to one another, and it just kind of went from there.
Many couldn't tell if the union between Elvis Presley's daughter and the pop star was real at first. As the marriage continued, more questions and suspicions regarding the relationship popped up. When the couple decided to divorce, Presley opened up about what caused her to leave Jackson after almost 2 years together. Stay tuned, Juicers. We're going to take a look inside the legendary Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie's marriage and why she filed for divorce after less than 2 years. Presley and Jackson first met at one of Elvis's concerts in the 1970s. At the time, young Lisa was just 7 years old and Michael was a teenager. He was a decade her senior, but clearly made an impression, and they stayed in touch as the years went by.
When Michael wants to pull you into his life somehow, he's very good at it.
The pair didn't connect again until around 1992, when they had dinner with a mutual friend in Los Angeles. However, Presley was already married to Danny Keough and had 2 children. Despite the fact that she was a married woman, Michael was immediately smitten with her. The two started having regular phone calls, updating each other about the intimate details of their lives. And soon they were close friends, but Michael wanted more. In fact, during one of their regular phone calls towards the end of 1993, Jackson couldn't stop himself from proposing to her. He said, "If I asked you to marry me, would you do it?" Without missing a beat, Lisa replied, "I would do it." By May of the following year, Presley finalized her divorce from Danny Keough and married Jackson in an impromptu wedding only 20 days later. It was reported that the ceremony lasted a mere 15 minutes. However, the couple decided to keep their marriage a secret for multiple weeks until Presley released a formal statement after around 3 months.
I can be next to the man and I can feel more comfortable that way. I wasn't seeking publicity myself. I was kind of looking to feel like I can support somebody else that I admired.
My married name is Mrs. Lisa Marie Presley Jackson. My marriage to Michael Jackson took place in a private ceremony outside the United States weeks ago. The bride later announced in a statement to the media, "I am very much in love with Michael. I dedicate my life to being his wife. I understand and support him. We both look forward to raising a family." Jackson later confessed that the wedding felt empty because his mother, Katherine Jackson, was not there. But he knew that it had to be low-key, otherwise, the press would have made it a fiasco. Michael couldn't have been more right with what he said about the press. As soon as the couple announced that they were married, the tabloids went wild.
"Oh, Lisa, there's helicopters outside the house and they're saying you married Michael Jackson." And I was just quiet.
There were speculations that it was all a publicity stunt. After all, he was a legendary pop star marrying the daughter of another legendary musician, Elvis Presley. It all seemed too spectacular to be true. There were also rumors that Lisa was pregnant, although we know that that was never true. Others speculated that this was part of Jackson's plot since he had a fascination with Elvis and wanted to be part of his world. One thing was clear, though, and it was that Michael and Lisa had an indescribable spark together. They enjoyed spending time together, vacationing at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago property in Palm Beach, holding hands and talking into the wee hours. Another source said they spent time in a park in Trump Tower in New York City, where they would hold hands, kiss, and cuddle, stare into each other's eyes and look out at the stars. Their close friends all thought that they were a perfect fit. After all, Jackson had always feared that women would come after his money, but clearly that wasn't the case since Lisa was the heir to Elvis's fortune. Despite what storylines the outside world put on their marriage, the two seemed truly in love. The couple made their first appearance as a married couple in September of 1994. They attended the MTV Video Music Awards together while holding each other's hands.
Welcome to the MTV Video Music Awards. I'm very happy to be here. And just think, nobody thought this would last.
To further show his affection for Presley, Jackson planted a kiss on his then-wife in front of the large crowd. Lisa Marie was reportedly embarrassed by the stunt. Behind closed doors, however, they were struggling, in part due to Michael's growing addiction to the painkillers he had been prescribed a decade prior for the second-degree burns he suffered in a fire on the set of a Pepsi commercial. Things soon took a dark turn in the couple's marriage in 1995. During a 2010 interview with Oprah Winfrey, Presley recalled Jackson fainting on stage during a rehearsal for an HBO special. she said she didn't know what could have gone wrong, but her gut told her illegal substances were to blame. Presley soon realized that drug abuse was a large part of Jackson's life. She confessed, "I couldn't tell what was happening. Dehydration, low blood pressure, exhaustion, a virus?" she said in the interview with Oprah. But Winfrey asked, "What did your gut tell you? You thought there was some drug use?" And Presley answered, "Yes."
You know, it's funny because I never saw it, so I can't answer.
They also disagreed about having a child. Lisa knew she wanted to have children, but she felt like she wasn't ready yet and that it was too soon in their marriage for them to become parents. Lisa Marie explained, "I was looking into the future and thinking, I don't ever want to get into a custody battle with him." She admitted that her hesitation caused stress to their relationship. Despite the difficulties, they were bonded. Lisa Marie said she loved taking care of him and that it was one of the highest points in her life when things were going really well and they were united. She added, "It was a very profound time of my life." However, there came the point in their marriage when Lisa Marie said to Michael that he had to choose between the drugs and her. Lisa Marie explained, "He had to make a decision. Was it the drugs and the vampires or me? And he pushed me away." Presley continued to Winfrey, defining the vampires as people that are sort of sycophants. It didn't take long for the rumors of a split to start making their rounds, and just a few months later, the couple called it quits. By December 1995, Jackson and Lisa Marie were done. She filed divorce papers, citing irreconcilable differences as the reason, and announced their separation the following month. They finalized the case in August 1996 after less than 2 years of marriage. Judge Hugo Francisco Alvarez Perez, who officiated the star's wedding, later said, "They lasted longer than I thought they would. I gave them a year. They lasted a year and a half." Lisa Marie called her publicist to break the news in a statement. The publicist briefly explained that Presley and Jackson mutually agreed to go their separate ways, but decided to remain good friends. When Lisa Marie finally opened up about the dark times in their marriage, she confessed that there were times when Jackson would allegedly be incoherent when she picked him up from some of his doctor appointments. While she had her suspicions, Presley claimed Jackson would manipulate her and everyone around him. "He was brought up that way," she said of Jackson's manipulative actions. "He was conditioned to get himself where he needed to go for his career, and he became very good at making and creating and puppeteering."
It got really ugly at the end. It wasn't pretty.
She also explained that she was always confused by his manipulation because she thought that it meant he didn't love her. However, years later, she was able to understand things better, and she realized that his manipulation was a survival tactic. Michael went on to marry nurse Debbie Rowe in November of 1996, and they had 3 children together, Prince, Perez, and Blanket. He and Rowe divorced on October 8, 1999. Throughout the years following the split, Presley dodged speaking about her marriage to Jackson in interviews. For a while, they kept in touch and spoke from time to time. However, Lisa Marie explained that the last time she had spoken to her ex-husband was during a phone call in 2005. During that call, Jackson asked if Presley still loved him. "I told him I was indifferent," she said, adding, "He didn't like that word. He cried." But even more shocking, she adds that he expressed concern about his own well-being. He felt that someone was going to try to kill him to get a hold of his catalog and his estate, but he expressed to me his concern over his life. 4 years later, Presley learned that Jackson had died in an LA hospital. Michael died at the age of 50 on June 25, 2009, from cardiac arrest induced by an overdose of propofol administered by his personal physician, Conrad Murray. Presley wrote a blog post the same day which stated she wished she could have done more for Jackson. "The person I failed to help is being transferred right now to the LA County Coroner's Office for his autopsy. All my indifference and detachment that I worked so hard to achieve over the years has just gone into the bowels of hell, and right now I am gutted." Lisa Marie, for her part, wed Nicolas Cage in 2002. Cage infamously filed for divorce 107 days later, but they did not finalize the case until May 24, 2004. Lisa Marie later married her guitarist, Michael Lockwood, in 2006, and they welcomed twins Harper and Finley 2 years later. She filed for divorce from Lockwood 10 years later. Tragically, her first son Benjamin took his own life at just 27 years old in 2020. In July 2019, it was revealed that Presley is working on a book, which she sold for between $3 million and $4 million to Gallery Books, that promises shocking revelations about Michael Jackson and a completely new understanding of Elvis. Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie's epic romance will undoubtedly go down in Hollywood history. While things weren't able to work out for the pair, it's safe to say that they truly loved each other. But due to the tragic circumstances, they weren't able to make things work. It seems like Lisa Marie always cared about Michael, but she knew she wasn't going to be able to save him from the path that he was going down on. We'll never really know what happened behind closed doors. All we can do is wish Lisa Marie the best and our sincere condolences for all the losses she and her family have had to endure. Be well and be kind.